Hey, Philip.
What's up, Kent?
I know you're a math computer guy, but I also know you have other talents that you included in your company.
You talking
And
about when
some of them started.
the way I can play the spoons? Is that what you're talking? Yeah,
We,
have you ever seen me? Have you ever seen me play the spoons? I'm really good at that. Oh, that
you
may
are.
be what you're
I,
talking about.
I can I can see where that would work in the early presentations where you were
Right.
bidding
Yes.
and stuff. All right, boys, harmonize.
Yes. Yes.
Um, no, I was actually thinking about. I know you. I know you're a math computer guy, but you also have a comedic touch, and you actually developed some of that at church. But I also remember you brought some of those skills to the work situation. To share
Yeah.
that with us, I think that's a bigger connection that a lot of us don't realize.
Yeah. I really have not thought about that. It kind of happened organically, but you are correct. For years, starting even as a teenager, I loved doing skits. I loved doing entertainment. Many times, myself and some of my friends, we would every year at church, we would the big Christmas banquet for the entire church. We were in charge of the entertainment, and we would do these crazy skits and make people laugh. Really didn't think about it, but it was just I enjoyed doing it, and um, I w- even even in grade school, believe it or not, I organized we kind of get a knockoff of the Gong Show that I
Oh,
organized for one night. We invited all the parents. It was my idea, and I was like the ringleader of it, and I was the MC of it, and I did all this little pratfalls and all the sorts of things. But I just always enjoyed doing that. It was just I have
okay.
a funny bone. I enjoy comedy. I love humor. To me, humor is therapeutic. And if you can get somebody smiling and laughing, you can usually get them to agree with you on some serious topic.
Agreed.
So I did quite a bit of that when I was younger, and even after I got to be an adult, I know I have a good friend, and you know her too, Donna Linville, who is hilarious. She's much funnier than I am. She's a very popular speaker at conferences all over the world, really. She and I started doing this little skit routine back many, many years ago, just when she would
Okay.
visit Nashville. And it became a thing. We actually recorded two comedy DVDs where we do these little sketch comedy. We wrote these little sketches and we performed them, and people actually bought the DVDs, believe it or not. So I had that knack, I guess, for making people laugh. Never ever dawned on me that that was a I didn't think of it as a talent, and certainly never thought of it as something that would be instrumental in my business. After all, I'm dealing with lawyers,
Yes.
lawyers, serious
Right.
lawyers and judges and things about the law. But here's where it came in, Kent. And I have alluded to this in a previous episode, but I haven't told the whole story. I used to go to these conferences every year on legal technology, technology for the legal profession, just to kind of see what's out there and uh, keep my mind sharp on new things that are coming down the pike. And I would go to all these different sessions, and most of the people that went to these were lawyers, and so they would get what we call continuing legal education credit. You had to have so much CLE, they called it, so many hours of training to maintain your status with the Bar Association, to maintain your license to practice law. And so I would go to these sessions to learn about different things, and I would sit through these sessions, and most of them were horribly boring. I mean, like, you're
Of
just
course.
like, "Okay, just tell me what I want, and let's get it." They would have to stretch it to an hour so they could get a full hour of CLE
Mm,
credit, and,
ouch.
it was most of the time, it was agonizing. But I went to one session, and it was sort of a wrap-up session at the end of the conference, and they had, I think, 3 or 4 attorneys just get up there, and they called it 60 Gadgets in 60 Minutes, and it really had nothing to do with maybe some of it tangentially had to do with the practice of law, but most of all, it was these three guys got up and they had found these different kind of tech gadgets that some of them were just way out there, wild kind of thing. and they went through rapid fire. One would do one, the next one would do one, the next one would do one, and they had the crowd rolling. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I could do that. And this was a national conference, so I go back to Nashville and I persuade my friend who is a lawyer, Bill, who was my mentor in many ways
Right.
and a great friend. And he was a lawyer and he was a techie too. His undergraduate degree was in electrical engineering, and then he went to law school and became a famous lawyer. But I persuaded him. I began to get invites to speak at local bar association, the Nashville Bar, Tennessee Bar, Knoxville Bar, etc., to do, CLEs. They would have these conferences where people go and get all their CLE credits, and they would want topics on technology. How are you incorporating
Of
technology in the firm?
course.
How can we be better at it? How can we learn, new technologies and make us more efficient? So I went to Bill. I said, you know what? I saw these guys do this presentation, 60 gadgets in 60 minutes. You know, as well as I know, all these CLE sessions are incredibly boring. So why don't we spice it up a little bit? We will kind of do a little knockoff on that, and we will just bring, um, I mean, we will mix in some serious stuff that people can actually use, real tech gadgets,
Right.
a digital dictation unit. Every lawyer needs a digital dictation unit back in the day. And so, we'd throw stuff like that, but we'd also throw fun stuff, and then we would put it together, or and Bill will forgive me, but I put it together and Bill would show up and do the presentation with me. No, he was great. He was great. We would meet and we would go through it. But what we did not want to be one of those boring CLE presenters that people are nodding off at the end. So we would put outrageous things in there to make people laugh, and then we would come up with little jokes. I can't believe it worked, but it worked. And
Okay.
so we did it one time, and like people loved it. They're, oh my, that's the best CLE I've ever been to. Oh my goodness. And so we said, okay, we started getting calls to do this for more bar association, mainly just in our area. And so I told Bill, I said, you know what, let's just go ahead and brand this. And instead of like, how to use technology to be more efficient in your law firm. That is as boring as everything. So let's just call, when they ask for a title, they would always say, what is your title and description? I said, it's
Right.
going to be the Bill and Phil Show.
Perfect.
And so Bill, who he had a lot of clients in the music business, show business, and so on. And so he had someone that did all the T-shirts for some big country music act. Like they would did all the
Okay.
merchandise and they did the graphics, and they would, all these sort. So he had them. He gave them a picture of me and him, and
Hmm.
they drew up these caricatures of Bill and
Oh.
Phil and put it on a T-shirt. And so for the first few years, I can't, it's so corny, but it was wildly popular. They would give us a discount on these T-shirts, so we'd order maybe 50, 100 T-shirts, and we would give out T-shirts as door prizes at our
Excellent.
presentation. And it got to where, like, people would be upset if we came to a presentation, we didn't bring T-shirts. "Well, I want my
Oh.
T-shirt." And every year there was a new one. We would brand it like every year,
Okay.
the
Right. Right.
2005 Bill and Phil tour, the Bill and Phil show tour. And then on the back of the T-shirts, we would have, by that time, after we'd done it for a few years, we were getting invites all over the country. So we were going
Really?
Los Angeles, we went to San Diego, we went to Minneapolis and New Orleans, we went to New York, we went to New Jersey. I mean, it was crazy.
St.
And
Louis. I picked you up in St. Louis
that's
one
right.
year.
Yes, that's right. We did a St. Louis. And so what we would do, we'd do it like a music act or something. We did our T-shirts with the Bill and Phil show, and then on the back we would have all the cities that we were going to go to that year. So this is the 2010 world. We call it the World Tour.
Of course. That's perfect.
But so and then we would write articles for local bar journals, and we would brand it as the Bill and Phil Gadget of the Month. And so it became a thing, and we gave them a little bit of content, but mostly what we did was made people laugh. And
Okay.
and they enjoyed it. We were welcome. We were invited. I don't so many, and it got to where, I didn't want to charge a lot of money. I mean, we wanted to get reimbursed for our travel, certainly. And I wanted to pay Bill. He wouldn't let me pay him, but he's a lawyer. He bills huge amount per hour. And so I felt bad asking him to, hey, they want us to come to San Diego. So you need to take 2 days
Right.
out this week to go to San Diego. So I felt like they got to pay us something. At least they got to pay Bill. So at that time, I had a sales guy, and so I put my sales guy. I said, look, the people are calling me wanting us to book us for a date to come in and speak. I said, I'm embarrassed to even ask for money. You take it and see what you can get. See what you can get to book us. And so he started
Okay.
booking us, and he was getting us like $1,000 a gig each, plus travel expenses.
Oh, that's great. He's your
He
agent.
was like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just something. It was not something that I planned on happening. It was not something that I was strategically planning that being a driver of business. What it did, it allowed me to get the name of my company out there far and
Right.
wide. And even to this day, I will run into an attorney somewhere and they go, "Are you Phil from the Bill and Phil show?"
That's so great.
So it was my humor, and thankfully, Bill and I, he was hilarious too, and so we just kind of played off of each other, and it became a Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis kind of gag, and but
Sure.
it worked, and we did that for, I want to say, 15 or 16 years running.
Wow.
Every year we would have a new theme. Every year we had a
Hmm.
theme, and we do this. That's one reason I would go to CES every year, Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. Bill and I would go every year. We've been for the last probably 15 years. And we would
Okay.
go and we would see all this outrageous new technology. It was just will blow your mind. And then we would take some of that and put it into our presentation, and we would take it to all these different law groups and say, here's what's coming down the pipe. And people ate it up. People ate it up, and we actually got paid for it. But really, what it was is a cool way to market my business and my expertise in law. And so,
Right.
the I guess the skill or the talent, if you will, was my humor, being able to make people laugh, and where that was honed, even starting at an early age at church camp, church banquets. That's kind of where I honed that ability to do that. And little did I know that that would become something that I could use in building my business. And so, yeah, it was kind of interesting.
I think it's interesting that something you got a lot of experience in at church
Yeah,
with the youth group. I've always said a church youth group. I've always said the church youth group could, once you've been through one, you know you can handle any crisis. You
there's
can if you need to sing, you can sing even if you can't sing. If you need an Easter musical in 10 minutes, you
yeah,
can get an in other words.
yeah,
And so it's interesting how the Lord prepared you to better your business by ministering and making people laugh in the
yeah,
church settings.
yeah. You mentioned that. You're exactly right. I mean, I for a few years at our church, we had this big drama. We had a drama at Easter. We did big Christmas musical drama, whatever. And for several years running, I directed that for the church, even while I'm
Oh,
running my business,
yeah.
which was the last time I did the really, really big drama. And it was that we had did it over multiple dates. And I was running the business at the time, and it was I said then, this is the last time I do it. I actually got pneumonia in the middle of that because I just stressed myself so much to the max. But that type of thing, running a drama, directing a drama, dealing with personalities, dealing with schedules, that sort of thing, absolutely, those sort of skills to manage people, manage schedules, manage deadlines and expectations and that sort of thing. Absolutely, those skills transferred over to running my business. There's no doubt about it, and really
And
helped
then
me.
you had the confidence once you saw the 60 and 60. 60 gadgets in
Yeah,
60 minutes to
I
go,
knew.
oh wait, I can you instantly knew you could
And as
translate
soon
that.
as I saw that, I'm like, I can do that. I'm like, I'm back on the stage like at the Christmas banquet. I can make people
Right.
laugh. So I can
Right.
mix that with with technical, bring some technology into it, but make it fun for crying out loud. People are bored to death. Make them laugh, make them smile. So,
Right.
yeah,
Right. That's fabulous. I think that was another way the Lord was preparing you that you had no idea
yeah.
that you were preparing.
I think I have not thought about it until you brought it up, and you're absolutely correct. I, I, I I have not appreciated how my humor was developed by my work in church, and then how that translated over
Right.
into really marketing my business, marketing myself on a bigger platform. And
Right.
so, yeah, I'm very thankful
Yeah.
that I'm a funny guy.
Yeah. Did you keep all the t-shirts?
I've got a bunch of them. Yeah, I kept a box with a
Okay.
bunch of them. Yeah, I sure do, just
Good.
for
Good.
posterity. So,
Yeah.
kind of
No,
a
those are no, I mean those are extras. You know what I mean that matter.
yeah. And I'm gonna
That's
try
fabulous.
one of the I've mentioned Bill, I haven't mentioned him by name on some of the previous episodes, but, he called me the other day,
Okay.
and, he goes, "My wife watched your podcast. Can you send me a link?" And I go, "Yeah." I said,
Okay.
"You come up quite often." He goes, "Oh." I go, "Yeah. When I say a prominent Nashville attorney, that's you." So, I'm
That's
hoping
your alias.
yeah,
Your
I'm
alias.
I'm hoping I can bring, Bill onto
Yeah.
the podcast at some point in time. He's super busy, but, we'll do a Bill and Phil show for everybody on the podcast. How's that?
Excellent. That sounds fabulous.
All
That
right.
sounds fabulous. Thanks for sharing that, Phil. That was great.
All right, keep laughing, Kent.
All right. Take care.